Hi Stephen, Matthew here from Built by Expert Trades. In this video, I'm just going to go through your website as well as your online presence. And by online presence, I mean your Google business listing and anywhere else online that you appear, and just provide you with some feedback. So I'll break that down into feedback that we can action for you. So I'll book in some time to make some of these updates that I mentioned. And then there will be some things that I can recommend that you do to help boost your website and improve its performance. So without further ado, let me crack into it. If I'm keep glancing over to the side, it's because I've just made some notes before recording this video. So let's get into it. So initial thoughts are good. I probably will update the styling of this top banner here, just more than anything to make this button here stand out, and maybe just center align it just to make it look a little bit cleaner. But apart from that, looks good. And then scrolling down, I've made a note of a few things. One thing I'd like to do is just link to your various services. So I know you've got it in the top menu here, your main services. So boiler repairs, installations, and then just other heating services. It would be good to link to them from this section. You see where they're mentioned here. I'll do that. I've also noticed that you're gas safe registered, obviously, and then you're part of this Derbyshire Trusted Trader Scheme. I don't know about the Trusted Trader Scheme for Derbyshire, but I know obviously GasSafe has a logo. I'll include it in this section, and I will have a look to see if this has a logo as well. And it would be great to build out this section even more if possible. So after this video, I'm going to ask you for a few details, and then anything you think that might put you at an advantage over your competitors. So for example, how long have you been in the industry? How long have you been in your trade? Any years of experience would be great. And any other sort of selling points, if you want to call it that, to help you stand out from your competition. So just think of it from your customer's point of view. Why should they choose you over someone else? Is it because you're a local family-run business? Is it because of you don't do a call-out fee? Whatever it is, please let me know. You can even just list it as bullet points. We're happy to write it out and expand on it. But if you can just provide us with that basic information, that'd be fantastic. And that will allow us to tailor this website even more to you and your business, and really get across why someone should choose you. Cool. One thing I definitely did notice, which is an issue, is this TrueQuote tool is not working at the moment. Now, it doesn't look like there's an error with it. It looks like it's loading fine, but it might be because the subscription for this has ended or something else with TrueQuote. So if you no longer use TrueQuote, please let me know and I'll just remove this completely from the website. If you do still use TrueQuote, it might be something worth getting in touch with them about. But either way, just please let me know, because that'll be important for me to action. You don't want to just leave that here for customers to see. Another thing I noticed is that there's quite a lot of orange, and I know obviously we want to keep the branding of the website as close to match your company logo as possible. However, I think it might be a little bit too much orange. So for example, with the background colors, I think the buttons, it works great because it really pops and stands out. However, you don't necessarily need that for the background colors for these sections. So I will just adjust the color scheme so it's so orange is used more to bring something to your attention rather than just as backgrounds. And then another thing I noticed is that you've got a couple of phone numbers on here. So there's this one that begins with 0845, and then there's also this one that's 0177. So I just wanted to check, what's your preferred phone number or phone numbers? Is it the case you use both? Is it the case you just use one? Either way, please let me know, and we can make sure that it's consistent throughout the website. Okay, I didn't really have anything to comment on your safety or about, so I'm just going to go on to the services section. One thing I noticed just throughout the website, so I'll click on heating services as an example, is that we are currently targeting Derby and Nottingham and surrounding areas primarily. Now, I think if I'm not mistaken, this will be probably where we can improve your performance most. Obviously, Derby and Nottingham are really competitive areas for engineers, especially when it comes to stuff like boiler installations. It's just very difficult to rank in those areas. You've got very well established websites that have had a lot of SEO done, a lot of money spent on these websites. So I wanted to ask you, if you had to choose your top 3 areas, what would they be? And from an SEO point of view and trying to get your website to rank in Google, please avoid anything as broad as like Derbyshire or Nottinghamshire. I know that that's probably the areas that you generally cover, but from Google's point of view, it's good to target specific towns. And up until this point, we've targeted Derby and Nottingham. I think it would be good to potentially focus in on some of the smaller areas. It's all about finding a balance between it. It's smaller than Derby and Nottingham so that you can rank, but they're not too small, so it's worth ranking for. So I've seen these areas listed here. So it might be the case that you choose 3 of those that are most important to you. Anyway, just please let me know. I think you're based in Ripley, so that might be the one that we try and focus on most. But regardless, just let me know, and we can update the website to make sure that that's consistent throughout. And we just try and change our approach to getting your website to rank in Google. So moving on, actually, while I'm on this page for heating services, notice it says gas appliances installation, unvented hot water cylinders, annual boiler servicing. Any other services? If so, please let me know. If not, no worries. Moving on to the boiler repairs page. I would just advise having a quick look through this, to be honest, and letting me know if there's any key information that's not on this page. So, and what I mean by key information is, what do your customers ask you about when they call you for a boiler repair? What questions do they have? For example, should we have information on here about the different boiler brands that you can repair? If you can repair all of them, great, let us know. Is there anything else in terms of like your pricing policy? Like, do you do no call out fee, or do you do a call out fee? Like, is there any information like that? Just the things that people will be interested in and want to know. It'll be great to have that on this website. Cool. And then moving on to installations. Again, just if there's any information that's not already on here, please let me know. One thing I've noticed is there's no sort of mention of preferred brands. I know a lot of our engineers are accredited with one or several boiler brands. If that's the case, let us know. And even if you're not accredited but you prefer certain brands, let me know, and we can either we can include some of their imagery, we can include some of their logos, just to help provide just a bit more information. And this will help not only your customers but Google as well. So Google looks for a couple of key things. One is information that's on your website. Is the website kept up to date? Is it kept accurate? And then 2, which I'm going to go into a little bit more detail later on, is links to your website. But I don't want to get ahead of myself too much. A couple quick more points. Reviews. I'd highly recommend just collecting more reviews. What you can do is just click on this button here, copy the URL that pops up in the new tab, and then just send that to your customers. And that just provides you with a nice, easy way to collect reviews. And all you have to do is just approve them, and they go automatically on the website. So it means that you can keep your website up to date, which again is great from Google's point of view, without actually having to log in and add it manually yourself. And then next, in the gallery, I'm just going to update the styling of this. But if there's any like images that you can send across of your more recent work, that'd be fantastic. A handful is great to start, but really we want to have more examples of your work. These look great, by the way. So these type of images will work really well, but please send anything that you can across. I'm also happy to take a look through your work. So even if you don't necessarily want to like hand pick it all yourself, if you just send all of it across, I'm happy to go through and add the things that I think will work best on the website. Okay, and then moving on to your online presence. So again, what I mean by online presence is just wherever your business shows up on Google. Now, there's a few Haywood Plumbing and Heatings. One's even based in Nottingham, so it's a little bit confusing, but this is definitely yours. And one thing I really like with your Google business listing is you've collected so many reviews. You've got a 5-star rating, so that's fantastic. Continue to do that because that will have a big impact on how your Google business listing ranks in Google. So it's a little bit intertwined with your website, but they are technically separate, and collecting reviews for this will definitely help with just showing up and getting as many customers as possible. One thing I'm happy to do is to, if you're happy to make me a manager of the listing, I'm happy to have a look through on the background. From what I can see, it looks great. I would probably change this to an actual copy of your logo. These images though are great, and I like the fact that you've got this image here. It just shows that you're like a local business. You're putting a face to the business as well, so making it nice, personable, local friendly business. So I like that. But yeah, please feel free to just share it with me, and I'm happy to take the look through at the back end. And what I can have a look through is like, are all the areas displayed on there, all the services listed on there, things that I can't necessarily see from this side, but will be visible when you're editing the listing itself. So I'll send across some information on how to add me as a manager. So please feel free to do that if you think that will help. And then another thing I noticed is that just Googling your company name, you do show up in some like directories. So there's like this local, what looks like a local website directory. So that's great, but yeah, just make sure that with anything that you have online, it's all consistent. So you can see here on the Google Business Listing, it's got your 0845, and then on some of these the like listings, it's got a mobile, it's got another landline. So just make sure it's consistent throughout. If you've already set these up, if you haven't, just contact these websites and tell them. And then more than anything, I'd really recommend adding your website to more. So you've got a few, which is great, but you really need to add it more. Your website, well, your business and your website to these directories. And the main reason for that is because Google sees these links, and one, it just helps Google notice your website, because basically what Google does, it just goes through every single website, follows all the links that are on that website, and that's basically how it lists its search results. It finds its search results is, okay, I found website A. Website A is pointing to website B. I've now found website B. So first, it just helps it notice, and then secondly, it kind of acts as a recommendation, because really people don't link to your website unless they're effectively saying, hey, check this out. And so Google treats it as almost like a recommendation. So the more websites you have that link to yours, so that can be a local directory, it can be a national directory, it can even be if you're accredited with any boiler brands. Often they will have a profile of your business on their website. Just making sure that they have a link to your website would be perfect. So to get started, I'd recommend just Verified is a great example of a directory, because it's free and there's a link to your website, exactly the sort of thing I'm talking about. So if I'm happy to help set that up for you, all I need from you is just your public liability insurance. That's the only real requirement I need from you. I can then fill out the rest of the listing based on the information we have. But yeah, I'll ask for that in my email, but please send that across whenever you get the chance. Okay, so I hope I haven't gone on too much. I did want to cover off not just your website, but your online presence in general, which has a big impact on how your website performs and ranks in Google. So I hope this all helps. If you do have any sort of questions about anything I've covered off, please let me know. As mentioned in the video, I have a few things that I'm going to update on my end. I also have a few things that I'd recommend doing and I'd like to hear from you about. I will include those things in an email so you have it and you don't have to keep scrolling through this video to find out what I need. So I'll send that all across. Any questions, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to help. All right, thanks, and speak soon. Bye-bye.